Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome back to another episode of the G.R.O.W Show. Let's get our daily checkup from the neck up. Kyle Evans coming to you, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, home of the storms today, but we're going to make it happen, Cap'n. If the internet goes out, blame Tropical Storm Dexter or whatever it's called right now. Not me, but we're going to make chicken salad while we can, guys. This series, this week, we've been talking about conversations that convert. How can we start talking better? How can we start showing up differently to raise our conversion when it comes to sales practices? In the beginning of the week, we talked about talking to more people. After that, we talked about talking to them more often. Today, we're going to talk about how deeply, right? So earlier, it's more people with more frequency, deeper. That's how I want you to start thinking about this. The next 6 months of this year, can I talk to more people with more frequency, deeper? And so we're going to dive in today what deeper might look like, what it might feel like. I want you to stop sounding like a salesperson and start sounding like someone they trust with their biggest decision. There's too many influencers and books on scripts and things to say and word tracks. Guys, what I want to offer you is this. Can you be a human being? Can you raise your emotional intelligence? I truly think that the raising of your EQ, your emotional intelligence, is the new closer, is the new truth, because people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. I think that each and every one of you out there can stop and think about a time in your life where you remember how the person made you feel, not necessarily what they said. You may remember a word, a sentence, but you don't remember the whole conversation. You remember how you felt walking away from it, whether that be in interpersonal relationships, business relationships, sales, whatever. People remember how you made them feel. Are you taking that much sincerity and intentionality into your conversations? One of the things, especially in business, I want you to remember, tattoo on your brain here, is people don't buy based on logic. They justify with logic. They buy because they felt the need to. People don't buy based on logic. They justify it with logic. They buy because they felt the need to. If they don't feel safe, if they don't feel understood, if they don't feel seen, if they don't feel the need, they don't buy. Another way you can consider or think about this, an option to have, is to think that sales is the transference of certainty. It's a transference of certainty. But you can't transfer certainty if you don't first create safety. I can't transfer certainty if I have not created a safe space, if I have not created that conditioned environment in their brain of safety. Something to think about and ask yourself, maybe journal, maybe spend a few minutes meditating on this. Do people feel better or worse after talking to me? Do they feel better or worse? Do they feel safer? Do they feel more energetic? Do they feel inspired? Do they feel hopeful after talking to me? Or is it the opposite? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if they feel seen, if they feel heard, they feel helped, you've already won 80% of the sale. The client, the customer, the person. Stop trying to sell people things they don't need and go figure out what they need and then meet them where they're at. I want you to start building connection through better questions. Phil M. Jones says the right questions make people feel like it's their idea. Empathy in sales, guys, it's the art of letting them speak their fears out loud. So you don't have to convince anybody of anything. Gary Keller says it as authorship is ownership. Are you letting them author what they need? Are you letting them author their concerns? Are you letting them author their fears? My goal is not to have you out there spending days and nights and weekends convincing people of anything. I want you to figure out what their fears are and then help them, guide them to fixing it. Some questions that you should have pre programmed in your mind to help them to achieve clarity. What's the most important thing to you in this move? What is the most important thing to you in this move? That should be preloaded, ready to go. Another thing to ask is people run from pain more than they run to pleasure. What's the one thing you're hoping to avoid? Simple enough, right? These are very simple and foundational, and yet we overcomplicate it. We overcomplicate the connection. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, what's the one thing you're hoping to avoid? What's the fear that you have that we got to make sure we miss? What's your biggest fear about this upcoming transaction? What's your biggest fear about this upcoming transaction? What would have to be true for you to feel ready? It's one of my favorite ones. What would have to be true for you to feel ready? Write that down. What would have to be true for you to feel ready? Another great question, seeking clarity. Who else do you lean on when you make decisions like this one? Who else do you lean on when you make decisions like this one? Slow down, people. Ask the Ford question, right? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. That's where emotions live. That's where urgency gets born. How's it affecting their family, their occupation, their recreation, the dreams that they have? What will this upcoming transaction do for those categories? Because more often than not, those are the top four categories that people are connected to. Also, I don't want you to jump in after every single answer. Pause. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. Let it marinate. Stop over talking the conversation. The person who asks the questions guides the conversation. The person who talks the most dominates it. I want you to be the guide. People want to feel like they were guided, not like they were dominated. I want you to consider this week in your conversations active listening, which is simply just validating and restating, validating what they said and then restating it back to them to show that you are actively paying attention. Like what they say, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, matters. Hey, Frank, what I hear you saying is that timing feels uncertain because interest rates. Is that right? I'm validating what they're saying, and then I'm just restating it back. Slow down in your conversations this week. Slow down in your connections. Be where your feet are. Be in the moment. Be with that person. Dig a little deeper. The next thing I want you to consider as you're working in your businesses this week is I want you to reframe your role. You are not a closer. You're a clarifier. You're a coach. You're a trusted guide. You're a decision architect. People only follow those they believe understand them. Stop trying to sell people crap they don't need. Be a clarifier. Be a coach. Be a trusted guide. Understand them. See them where they are. When we do this, we increase the efficacy. When we do this, we increase the feeling of the interaction. When we do this, when you ask the question, do people feel better or worse after they talk to me? The answer will be a resounding better. But I need you to shift your tone. I need you to go deeper. I need you to see the breakthrough and help them author it. If you can describe someone's problem better than they can, they will automatically assume that you have the solution. The reason I harp so much on clarity, guys, is because there's a saying, and forgive me, I'm not sure who said it. It's been around for a while. A problem that is fully written out, a problem that is fully written out and fully described is 50% solved. A problem that is fully written out and fully described is halfway to being done, fixed. So when you're conversating, when you're interacting, I want you to mirror what they're saying. I want you to label it and validate it. Hey, it sounds like you might be feeling overwhelmed with timing right now. Hey, what you said is totally fair. This is a big decision. Hey, let's slow down and break this into smaller bite-sized steps that we can knock out together. This isn't sorcery or rocket science. It's connection. It's paying attention and making them feel like the most important thing in the transaction because, ladies and gentlemen, I got news for you. They are. Their dreams, their hopes, their goals, their fears. Let's figure it out together. Let's put their agenda first. It's one of the things we talk about in Keller Williams in real estate is being the fiduciary, which means putting the client's needs above everything else. When we do this, this is how we can differentiate ourselves in a cold market, in a hot market, in any market. Guys, because in uncertain markets, people don't want hyper, they want human. Are you slowing down to be the human on this Thursday? The agent who creates the most emotionally safe space in the conversation is usually the one who's going to earn the right to that relationship. Are you getting lost in the sauce? Or are you connecting emotionally? Because the one that does is going to be the one that earns the right to that relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there's 1.6 million real estate agents. That means everybody you know knows like 7 real estate agents. Are you going to be the one that connects and builds an emotionally safe space to help them, to guide them to what they're actually looking to solve? I want you to move this practically. Shift pressure questions to process questions. So in your mind, be thinking about that. How can I move from pressure to process? Instead of saying something like, hey, you ready to make an offer on this one? Why wouldn't you say something like, hey, what would need to be true for you to feel more confident about making this next step? I know this is an important decision for you and your family. What would need to be true for you to feel more confident about making this next step? Slow down when they speed up. Lower your voice, lower your tonality when tensions are rising, when anxiety is rising. I want you to match their energy and then lead it somewhere calmer. Meet them where they are and then lead them somewhere calmer. You've got to understand that your tonality creates the emotion that they feel, not the words. Your tonality, your energy is creating the emotion that they feel, not your words. We can talk to more people. We can talk to people more frequently, but we got to go deeper. We got to create the emotion that they feel. Spend some time on this. Spend some time slowing down and connecting. My challenge to you today, your homework, if you will, call a lead, call a client. Ask questions you've never asked before. Go 3 questions deep on a statement, 4 questions deep. I want you to think that you're a scuba diver, not a snorkeler. Another idea that you can think about is share a personal story or a client win or an experience that can help build an emotional bridge that lets them know that they're not alone. This isn't some unique, foreboding experience that only they have to go through. Share a win. Another thing to consider is validate someone's concern without jumping to solve it immediately. By the way, I'm talking to myself here. Validate people's concerns without jumping into solution immediately. And then the most important thing of all this, I want you to track what shifts. Pay attention. Hey, you know what? Did they open up more when I slowed down here? Did they trust more when I connected and validated? Did they ask me the next question? Because I created a safe environment for them to not feel judged or worried or anxious. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in a world of automation, empathy is differentiation. In a world of automation and AI and social media, empathy is differentiation. My goal in all this is not for you to be some slick salesperson. I want you to be sincere. We don't need a better pitch. We need a deeper presence. And if you can become the person who feels different to talk to, you'll become the one they choose when it matters. But you got to become the person who feels different to talk to first. When we put all this stuff in practice, when we bring it to the forefront of our minds and our business and our connection with human beings, not only will we be more successful, we'll feel better ourselves because we're not pushing and pressuring people into things they don't need or helping them with situations that they actually need guidance in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning to you once again. I hope you have a great and awesome day, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Kyle Evans signing off today.